Mili Fay here. Today I'm going to show you how to draw Anna from Frozen. There was a little debate on whether to draw Anna or Elsa if I cannot draw both, and Instagram spoke and it'll be Anna today. Now I just wanted to show you my setup here. This is an animation disc with the paper on the pegs and the blue pencil that I like to use. It's called erase, so even though it is blue, it's not like crayons, it's really easy to erase. And another thing that's important for drawing characters is having a little mirror that you can see here on the side, because that's what I use to get expressions. And when I'm drawing, the best way to create expressions is to actually make them yourselves, even though sometimes I can just get reference from Google. I also wanted to show you that I will be using this little phone connecting device that I got from Amazon. So hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing, even though it's rather dark in Toronto today. So let's get to it. I have never really drawn Anna or Elsa before this, and whenever I begin to draw a character, the first step is to, of course, study the character. So if we take a look at Anna, if you look at her head, it's kind of round. I think this is what they decided to do because of her Slavic origins and high cheekboned, but most of the characters sometimes tend to have like oval head shapes, but Anna's is more like the heart-shaped face. And her head, if we measure the size, there we go, and compare it to the rest of her body, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's almost like 6.5. So that's her head height, I guess. And that's because Disney heroines tend to have big heads on, I guess, proportionally kind of solid body. And that's what makes them cute. They're giant heads and they're giant eyes. So if you look at the face, which we'll be drawing today, her one eye is, the distance between the eyes is the same as one eye. And whenever, I don't know if you ever had those how to draw Disney character books, but if we begin, it always kind of starts, Disney characters tend to start with the circle. And the circle is for the skull. So you have to get really good at drawing circles. I hope you can see that. Let's see if we can bring it some more light in there. Let me bring that down a bit. Maybe a bit more. Alright, so erase the circle we do not need. Alright, that fits. So in the middle, if you look at the head, that's where the eye line is. So we will draw eye line, and it's not straight. I guess you can use straight, but your head is a ball kind of shape, so it curves. And then this could be just the direction. Wow, it looks like she's getting some horns. Better erase that bit as well. And if you look at the eyes that are wide spaced apart, you kind of never go too big with Disney character eyes. Kind of like this shape thing happening there, and her eyes do seem tilted. And if we go, she has like a tiny little button nose. I wish I had a tiny little button nose. Mine is huge. And her mouth is kind of impish. It's like this little, almost like a little pointy, like a round little pointy. Look at me, I'm cute and mischievous. And the distance between the bottom of the nose and the top of the mouth is rather small. But if we look at the chin, so like from the chin to the bottom of the nose to kind of like the bottom of the eyebrows to sort of like the top of the head, that's like the thirds. So if you have, so this is 1/3, and when you draw eyes, they taught us to draw these almost like superhero masks to make it easier to figure out how the eyebrows would move. But so like that's the bottom, so that's 1/3, 2/3. Let's say that's where the bottom of her chin would kind of be. If this is her mouth, so or maybe higher. So that's the bottom of the chin. And she does have high cheekbones. So we do this heart-shaped cheekbones here, go down, shape. So if you do want to make the character look older, what you would do is you would tend to drop some of that skin down. So, but she's very young, she's 16 in this one, I think. So, little heart shapes, if you think about it, it's like almost like a little heart-shaped face. And, alright, so now when you want to draw the neck, consider where the bottom of the skull would be. So that's your bottom of the skull, and you draw from behind. And Disney characters, especially females, have like these thin pencil, thin necks. And they also have, tend to be a bit long too. So they have narrow, very narrow bodies and shoulders, which I think it all to appeal to that cuteness factor. Alright, so let's just do a flat one. So this would be a really flat drawing. If you are drawing a character, actually, if you want to move the character, you would never want it to when you're drawing like what I'm doing right now, where everything is kind of the same. It's almost like there's a line in the middle and everything is symmetrical. You would want to change it. Even if you look at this drawing here, like if you look at her mouth, this mouth is just slightly higher here than it is here. And the eyes as well, they're not, like this one's a bit tilted, this one's a bit down. I don't know if that's like just natural, but the more of those asymmetrical little bits you add, the more alive your character would look, because only robots are perfectly symmetrical. And so there we go. So if we look at, this is like, this will be our brow line. And so your, proportionally, the ears tend to be from the bottom of the nose to the top of the brow, to the brow. And so you would like draw these gigantic ears, but don't think about it like that. Consider that if you are drawing a head, your ears begin, let's say that's like halfway, like if you're, this is like the front of your skull without the nose and everything, your ears will begin somewhere like halfway there. So what we are drawing is the ears, but they're kind of in the back, so that's why they're like more down. And if we look, and your head, its shape, it's never flat like that. It usually goes up. And in African Americans, it's tends to, like, the skull tends to be even more angled. But she's Slavic, so consider your hairline going back. And if we think from, like, if that's the bottom of the brow, we do like divide it into about thirds. That's where you want to do your hairline most of the time. And if we look at her, whenever you draw, I think volume, and it's not computer, what I'm drawing, it's not a computer animation, so it's not a puppet, it's a drawing. And whenever you're used to doing classical animation, you would have to, you cannot draw every single hair strand, so you have to think about the shape. So the basic shape of her hair. So there's like one little bit there, and there's like a little bit chunk here, and you would animate those chunks separately. And then her hair continues from like that part. Now I don't want to have it like down straight. I like having just like a little bit of volume here to like make it more bouncy. And if we look at the drawing, it's kind of like halfway where her neck is. That's where her plates begin. So it's, I don't know if you ever made one, but it's divided into 3 sections. And if this goes from around here, wraps around this bit here, and then what's coming here would actually be the middle. Oh no, they're actually wrapping around the middle, so the middle's in the center, so this wraps around there, this wraps around here, and then the part here is the part from the middle wrapping around this part that continues there. So, but we'll just simplify that into these little heart shape. And even when you're drawing plates and everything, you don't want to make them exactly symmetrical. This is a quick, easy way. Alright, so let's do her little tiny little butter nose. Think of it as a little ball with like little tiny wings. It's like almost too small to actually be drawn. And then her bridge seems to be very straight in this drawing. And then we get the big eyes. Now, it was, I think, Andrew Loomis's book that I used. And he said that when we draw eyes, it looks more natural if you do like a curve and straight line. And then on the bottom, you would do straight line and curve. So top, curve into straight, bottom, straight into curve. Okay, and then we want to have the irises just touching, and then this would be the eyelid. So it's not just your eyelid wraps around your eye. So think of the eyeball that's sitting in the socket. Okay. And the pupil is a hole, and when you look at your eye, if you can see here, but if this is your iris and there's a pupil, it will kind of like go inside, and then this is just a hole, and this keeps opening. It's like an aperture depending on the light. So she seems to have brows. So brow is at that mask line. You can draw one here, but it's under the hair, so it's not as important. And looks like I'm gonna need to sharpen my pencil again, because I keep forgetting to turn my pencil as I draw, and that's the way to keep your tip sharp, is you keep turning it around as you're drawing.